Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoilercast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, it is Sunday, November 5th. Got a little tongue-tied there off the bat. So, of course, we're going to catch back up with Loki today. Actually, we caught up with Loki last week, but we're still doing more Loki to finish it out. But before we dive into Loki, I want to throw something out there. I know it's a surprise, but I just want to get y'all's raw reaction of this. Echo trailer dropped.
Yes.
Did y'all get a chance to watch it?
I did.
What was y'all's whelming on it?
Mine is, honestly, I'm pleasantly whelmed. Like I'm still, I guess, or kind of like what you had said before, cautiously whelmed as well.
Yeah.
But it looks really good from the trailer. They did a great job with it, and it's interesting. I noticed at the end that it says that you're going to have to go to your Disney Plus TVMA setting to be able to stream it. So that has me a little excited. So.
Well, they did that with Moon Knight as well, didn't they? Or did they not? I can't remember now. I thought we talked about it or something, or they brought that new setting in with Moon Knight, or maybe it was Punisher coming in and Daredevil coming in.
Yeah, I don't remember you having to do that for Moon Knight.
Yeah, it was for the Punisher and Daredevil when they brought the Netflix series in.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I remember that now.
I think I'm cautiously whelmed right now, just because I'm really liking Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. I think that's really cool. I like I don't know her name right now, but the actress that plays Echo, she's pretty cool. I'm worried there's going to be a lot of I don't know what to call it, but muffled, because she's deaf. A lot of the show is going to be reading sign language and muffled noises and everything.
And the ringing.
Yeah. I'm worried it's going to be a lot of that, just because that gets grating on the ears for some reason for me. But for the most part, it looks pretty cool. We saw Daredevil, one shot of Daredevil in the red suit. I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, I saw the trailer, cautiously whelmed. I even saw your trailer reaction on our YouTube channels, which you looked very tired in that.
That's me always.
Okay.
One thing I was going to ask about the trailer is, is it hinting at might seeing some of the Punisher in it?
Oh yeah, well, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured we'd do a whole trailer breakdown, but yeah, I'm wondering if they are that's a subtle wink. We may get Punisher. Rumor is that we were going to get him in Daredevil, but they could throw him in here. Who knows? Daredevil's being totally written from the ground up now, so I don't know what exactly is happening. I'm excited, nonetheless. I just read an article actually before we even jumped on that this will be Disney Plus's first series where you don't need to know anything about anything to watch this series.
Marvel Spotlight branding is what it's now called.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know the buzzword for it.
Well, that was it's almost like, how DC has the Black Label or whatever. You had the Elseworlds and stuff like that.
Right.
So they're taking the spotlight from the comic book name and they're putting that now as those kinds of series. You don't have to know anything.
Yeah.
You can just sit there and just start these and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Which is super awesome.
It's like Marvel Max when they did that, where it was more gritty and darker kind of stories.
Yes. Was it Marvel Knights as well? Was that another one?
That was another one. Yes.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. No, I figured we would do another in-depth as well. We didn't talk about it, but I did want to touch on it a little bit, just kind of get our little whelmings or whatever out the way.
Right.
And plus I felt like this was kind of a slower episode anyways of Loki. But now you look at your notes and you have me worried.
Yeah, I got a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but I definitely know what they're doing. They totally showed their cards here. It's from a comic book that we'll talk about in a minute, but anyway.
Okay. I'm super interested to hear about that because I haven't watched any kind of Easter egg stuff or nothing like that. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what you have to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also cautiously whelmed as far as the Echo trailer goes. But I was super pumped. Like you said, I did a review, just a live. Like I waited to watch it and recorded myself watching it for the first time. So much Daredevil vibes from Netflix, and I'm loving that. And I hope that just continues to keep going that way.
Yeah.
So that's all I will say for right now on it.
I actually want to add one more thing in. I like all along, this is what they should have been doing with the Disney Plus series is more street level people because it's cheaper to make.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's one of the things I'm kind of like, yes, let's do this. Like you don't have to spend, millions of dollars per episode like you did with whatever She-Hulk, Moon Knight, all that stuff. Like Moon Knight, you really didn't have to, but whatever reason they wanted to add like CGI to the suits, like transforming and stuff.
yeah,
But yeah, it looks cool. I'm kind of digging the vibe that they're laying down.
awesome. Let's dive into Loki. Season 2, Episode 5, Science Fiction. Loki goes time slipping to try and save all the universe. That's pretty much all that I saw in this episode. To me, it was, I don't know. Jeremy, what's your whelming on this before I just,
I will say for this particular episode, I am still pleasantly whelmed, but down more to like just the bottom end, like closer to whelmed, to pleasantly whelmed kind of thing. Just for this particular episode, it was an episode that was however long, 45 minutes long, and you really got maybe 10 seconds of actual like progressing the story forward a little bit more kind of thing. So it was still like I still really enjoy Loki as a whole, and I think it's still a good show. But like as far as just the meat and potatoes of like the show kind of thing, it was the salt basically.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna save this for when we talk about the last episode, but this whole show felt like you should have watched it in pairs. So like 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6. And it feels like it
Okay.
would have flowed better. I honestly think they should have just merged 1 and 2, though 1 and 2 had that weird, like when it just goes to Brad Wolf in Zaniac kind of stuff. But anyway,
yeah.
I am pleasantly whelmed still. This episode just went full Doctor Who. I kind of said that last week that they were probably going to do some timey-wimey bullshit, and we got timey-wimey bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly whelmed. There is a reveal with one of the variants, and then also some stuff that's being said that it's like, oh, they're doing that story from this comic. I'll get more into it when we actually start talking about it. But anyway, pleasantly whelmed.
Like I said, I'm super interested to hear what comic book, but my whelming is this episode underwhelmed.
Mm.
Considering where they left us off at,
Yeah.
with spaghettification on freaking Victor Timely and everybody going towards the light, like no, picking it up here and having this kind of an episode, totally underwhelmed. Still like pleasantly whelmed to overwhelmed with the series overall, but with this episode here, it fell flat for me. Just absolutely, I just felt like it was a bunch of shit that I didn't need. So didn't ask for, didn't need, whatever. Like I kind of get it, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of like I liked seeing all the main characters kind of origin story almost.
Yeah.
Kind of where they were plucked from the timelines. So I thought that was kind of fun seeing those. But I mean, yeah, it was. I kind of agree. Like it was very like way up there, and then we just stalemated for a little while for this episode.
But was that even their timelines?
Yeah, I think so.
Because every time we went and saw them, it said branched underneath it, branched underneath it, branched underneath it. It was not sacred.
Yeah, well, I think all the TVAs are variants. Like they're not from the sacred timeline. Like all TVA
Yes.
agents. So
Okay.
that's their branch timeline that they were originally from.
See, and they ruined Casey for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, freaking
Really?
loved Casey, and now I'm like, well, he's a dick, and like,
I think it's funny. Like, it's a very juxtaposition of his character. He's very like by the books when he's at the TVA, but like this version is he's one of the famous people that escaped Alcatraz and then was never heard from again.
No, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't like his attitude. Got on my nerves. Gave me a bad taste of Casey, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I want. That was one of the things I had wrote down was that everybody was from sacred, like branch timelines, and so that kind of threw me off. But like that does make complete sense that these people would be variants of like normal people, and so they would be plucked from branch timelines. So I'm glad that got cleared up for me. I put in my notes also that like we have another theme again of science fiction. Like, that was kind of Victor Timely's thing. Was his whole monologue was everything is fiction until it's not, until it's fact.
Yeah,
and that's kind of the same thing we were getting from OB again, and especially with them having the whole like they learned from each other how about the TVA, like just more of like, are they the same person?
What you talking about, OB?
Yeah.
In Victor Timely, yeah. I don't think it's that now. I think it's this, like, they just sort of showed their hand at the beginning of this series. This whole thing is cyclical. This whole thing is an Ouroboros. It's the snake swallowing its own tail. Like, even down to the creation of this episode and Tom Hiddleston, like, revamping Loki. And I'm just going to get into it real quick now. B15's variant is, her name, she's a doctor. Her name is
Verity
Willis. She's a pediatrician in New York City, branch timeline 2012. Anyway, that is the same name of a character from the comics series, the 2014 run of Al Ewing's Loki, Agent of Asgard. And at the end of that series, not end of it, excuse me, it's on issue 13 when he does it, but Loki decides to, so I got to tell story real quick. Loki dies due to the void killing him. And then he gets reborn as Kid Loki. And in that story, Kid Loki wants to basically like be better than what he was when he was an adult.
Okay.
So anyway, he purges his like evilness and puts it into like a raven, and it's named like Loki spelled backwards. And anyway, long story short.
Coli?
Yeah, exactly. I-Cole, I think is how you say it. I-Cole. But anyway, eventually that Loki that's in the Raven tricks Kid Loki into basically merging their minds back together, ultimately killing Kid Loki. They create like a new version of Loki. And that Loki is, he feels guilty for what he has done. Anyway, so there more stuff happens through comic booky bullshit. And then we eventually get to Loki, Agent of Asgard. In that, Loki eventually meets a future version of himself where he's known as King Loki. And King Loki, this is also going on while the incursions are about to happen. Like literally you can look out of the sky and like the earth is about to collide with 616. So anyway, he decides to basically say like, I need you to become this Loki so that my future can still exist. And then Loki is talking with on a cell phone. It's a magical cell phone because he can get reception anywhere. It's kind of ha 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 ha. It's like Doctor Who kind of stuff. He's talking with
Verity
Willis, who he becomes best friends with in that comic. And he decides, I'm not going to pick like whether I want to be this Loki or that Loki. I want to write my own story. So instead of becoming like the trickster god, the god of lies is what he talks about. He's going to become the god of stories. Because, and I'm going to read a little bit from the issue. He says, what's a lie?
Verity.
A lie is a story told. That's all. And we can rewrite our own stories, all of us. Write our own happy endings, our own redefinitions. We don't have to be what we're told to be, even by ourselves. But if you really want to change, you can't just trick yourself into thinking you already have. That's never a trick worth playing. This is goodbye or see you later. And then he puts on this crown. He like goes up in flames and like an explosion happens. And then like future Loki's like, oh no, you fooled me, yada, yada. And then there's an epilogue where he shows back up to
Verity
Willis. She opens the door and she's like, who the hell are you? And he looks slightly different. And he says, me, I'm the god of stories. I'm Loki. So at the end of that, both in this episode, Sylvie says, we're all writing our own stories. Go write your own. plus the stuff with OB, which is why I'm bringing all this up, with him talking about science and fiction and how sometimes you just have to go off of fiction when science doesn't work. And then Loki at the end of the episode says that he can rewrite the story right before time slipping to that moment when the loom's about to blow up. So anyway, I'm out of breath now, but that's basically that's basically what they showed their hands here this episode with all that.
Well, it's interesting that you bring all that up, because especially the whole story thing and whatnot. Because yes, like OB has a book entitled was it Sons of Urine?
Yaren.
That's it. And it looks very similar to the book that's in the credits of Loki.
Yeah, I think it is the same book, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, the book in the credits is called Zartan Contingent.
Oh, that's one of his other books. Yes. Because he showed that other one. That's the one he's selling in the store.
That's the Sons of Urine, isn't it?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, the Zartan one is the one he's selling in the store.
Yeah, it's the Zartan one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Got you. I missed that. But yeah, okay. So that's pretty cool. That's interesting. They're going to... Do you think that... I think we're going to get a Groundhog Day in the next episode.
Maybe, yeah, probably. The other thing that I just wanted to talk about that's other cyclical is it's just very like, wow, this goes even deeper, is that the whole reason this story is even happening, not the Loki show, but the comic Loki Agent of Asgard, is Loki before Tom Hiddleston was like an old, like hag looking, like he looked like the witch that tempted Snow White, you know. He was always evil and a trickster, and when Tom Hiddleston came along and he made Loki more charming and he was like, you know, better looking than the comic book version, his character slowly in the comics started changing into that version of Loki.
Yeah.
But now this story is now influencing the show Loki. So it's like a snake swallowing its own tail in and of itself. Of like
through other media now.
Yeah, exactly. Like Tom Hiddleston influenced this story that then influenced the show.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Did y'all notice the last letter that stayed up?
Yeah.
In the first part of the credits
was a circle.
Was the O? Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yep. That was the other note that I had. Let's see. Obi's office looks exactly like the one at TVA.
Yeah. That's the one thing that really confused me. I was like, so I think we're going to learn is that Loki created the TVA. Like all the events of this season is establishing that Loki created the TVA by all the machinations of him going and collecting all these, whatever, 5 people or 6 people. I don't know how many there are. I think they're going to establish that this is creating the TVA or something. And that like warehouse that OB is at, or AD, what's his real name? AD Doug, is like where the creation of the TVA starts or something. I don't know.
Well, about 2 weeks ago or so, one of the inside scoops that I always pay attention to, they came out and said that Loki was going to take over the TVA essentially.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, it said Loki. It didn't necessarily say Sylvie. It didn't necessarily say Loki, you know, Prince of Asgard or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of still a toss up in the air of who was actually going to take over. But I assumed it would be actual Loki.
Yeah. That's kind of my theory of where we're going, is that because of this whole God of Stories, like that's what he'll say at the end of this series, or at the end of this season anyway. I don't know if there's going to be a season 3, but he'll say like, I'm not the God of lies, I'm the God of stories, and implying like I'm now like the God of the, like I'm handling all the multiverse stuff. And like those are different stories, essentially. Different timelines are different stories.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's where they're going with this.
I like it. It also brings back to the conversation he had with Sylvie while getting pie about we're gods.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jeremy, is there anything that you're liking about this? Are you having any questions? You're like a sponge. You're just taking all this shit in. But like,
yeah, I'm just trying to.
Do we need to ring you out real quick? Just to like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those. I'm just like, I'm just trying to follow with it, and understand a little bit more. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be. It's one of those that, like, again, where we talked about the whole trying to make sense of some of this time, like flipping or time, whatever you want to call it. It's just so many different variants and changes and stuff. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, this episode, like I said, when they went full Doctor Who, like they just straight up went like when Obi says like you should try fiction instead of science or whatever the line is, I was like, oh, okay. So they're just saying it doesn't fucking matter. Like we can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
Like we're pulling a Doctor Who here. We'll just make up some bullshit and that's the excuse for it. Like
Random bullshit.
yes.
Yeah.
Cool. I felt so bad for Obi. I'm not gonna lie.
I did too.
Like I was like, man,
Yeah.
he
seemed unfazed by it though.
Well, he seemed a little down. He was like, lost my job, then my wife left me, and I had to take a break because of that.
Couldn't get his book sold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just like, fuck me, Obi. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Jeez. Poor guy.
My note did say, poor Obi, he lost his wife due to making the Tim pad.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. Though. Like the way they did that, where Loki was like, you made one that fast? And he's like, well, if you think 19 months is fast, then
yeah. He's like, I took a month off after I lost my job. My wife left me. He kind of hangs his head for a second. He's like, anyway, where do you want to go?
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Damn it, man. Do y'all get tired of like, we've talked about the mind controlling trope and stuff like that of the MCU and how they kind of fall back on that like several times over. And now I feel like dusting or spaghettifying is like a whole nother thing that we're just going to have to keep reliving. Because I was getting such in-game vibes here, or Infinity War vibes here with the spaghettification of everything. I was like, oh, well, it's just not dust this time. It's spaghetti strands. Okay, good talk.
I didn't get tired. I thought the scene where Sylvie's in the record store and everything's spaghettifying, I thought that was beautiful looking, like in a weird, sick way. Like I was like, wow, this is done really well. How they did it. And yeah, when they're in Obi's workshop and everything's spaghettifying, I was like, this is very Infinity War. Like I had PTSD. I was really waiting for like Mobius to be like, I don't want to go, or whatever Spider-Man says to Tony in that scene.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah.
What I like, you were making a comment back in episode 2 that we did not care at all about these other timelines getting pruned or whatever the case was. They gave us no feelings for that at all. I will say though, like seeing all those characters getting spaghettified, I was like, damn, like I don't want them to go. Like and
like
then seeing go ahead.
The record store owner. Yeah. Like trying to holler at Sylvie and everything. Like that was intense.
She reaches out for him and all she's grabbing are just like the strands or whatever, the molecules. Yeah. It was very, I don't know. It like I said, it's very like you said, Michael, it's very Infinity War dusting kind of thing.
Well, and they even gave like the scene with Loki whenever he's got all the strands coming by him.
Right,
like I felt for him on that because he's trying to grab all these strands.
Yeah, he's like reaching out and trying to grab at them. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I should have brought this up earlier, but have y'all noticed that He Who Remains is in the Marvel logo now?
No.
I think so, yeah.
Like in that opening, like with all the in the letters?
Yes, the Marvel logo.
Really? Oh.
So when they're panning out, of course they're panning out the whole time. But in the top of the M, on the first part where you see it, he's up there in that little section that's like standing up.
I can't remember. The only reason I didn't know because I didn't notice it, but I think like the new Rockstars video pointed it out in one episode. But yeah, that's cool. I like them updating because they added Kamala Khan and Shuri and something else. I can't remember. I think one of the Secret Invasion crap. Like ugh. But yeah,
probably Mother of Dragons, who's the most overpowered person in the Marvel universe now. I mean, why would it not be her?
No, I want to say it's Nick Fury or something.
Oh, damn it. If you don't go with Daenerys Targaryen, why? You should go with Olivia Colman, by God. She is the star of that freaking show.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I did notice today that, because I watched the intro to Quantumania, and I first noticed He Who Remains in the Loki stuff. And then I watched Quantumania, the opening to it, and he's in that one as well.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Yeah. So he's been in there for a bit, apparently.
Okay.
But just with the whole like Jonathan Majors stuff or whatever, not that that's like a big thing,
Right.
but it's kind of one of those things. Like we didn't like Moon Knight got knocked out really quick.
Yeah.
Like we were on Moon Knight watch like by episode 3.
Yeah.
Like where did it go?
Yeah.
Where's he at?
Yeah. Yeah.
He had his 15 seconds of fame, and then they're like, "Oh nope, we need to get rid of him."
Oh no, guys!
Yeah. Anyway, it annoys because Moon Knight had the potential to be so good.
Yeah,
Right?
it really did.
Right?
I mean, it's no Secret Invasion, but like,
Oh no.
like that is just an absolute shit show. But anyway,
I would definitely watch Moon Knight over Secret Invasion.
oh
again.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'd watch a Moon Knight 100 times back to back before watching Secret Invasion again.
Secret Invasion made me feel bad for like shitting on Moon Knight, honestly, because
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I said bad things about this and I could have just had this again and it would have been fine. Like
We were too hard on you. We didn't know how good we had it.
Come back.
That's great. I have a ridiculous question to ask. Do y'all think Zaniac is the true villain of Loki?
No,
season
God, no.
2?
Brad Wolf shows up. It was I all along. Zaniac.
I'm just saying, we got another Zaniac riff. Who?
Yeah.
That was for you, Jeremy.
It
apparently.
was because I had to think for a second who we were talking about. I was like, oh yeah, that guy. B5, what B5, B15?
X5.
No, X5.
X5.
Yeah.
You got close though.
Yeah.
It is confusing. I will give you that. But no, we got another Zaniac reference with there being a video game in the bar where Loki and
Yeah.
Loki go to. So
Loki and Loki go to.
Loki and Loki.
God, I hate her mullet. Like, it's so.
Oh, I know. Oh God.
She's at the bar with that stupid mullet. I'm like, it
Yes.
just looks so bad.
Yeah, that's what I was telling my wife too. Like, I was like, I hate this haircut. It looked like it's worse than like the '80s mom's haircut kind of thing. Like it's just terrible. So
Yeah, it's bad. I totally agree. I'm like, the mullet should die on the vine. Like, it should have never been brought
Yeah.
back.
Should she have gone with like the big 80s bangs? Like the just.
Oh, yeah.
it would have looked better.
The ones that have to like be whatever, like rolled to be like,
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom used to love you, mom, but she used to rock those like kind of bangs for the
Yeah.
longest time.
Like if they were straight, they'd straight up be like down to their mouth or whatever, but they curled them up. So it's
Yeah. No, it would have not looked any better. Her hair was fine in last
I agree.
season. It looked fine. And then they gave her this awful one, or she gave it to herself. I don't know. Because I don't know if it's a wig or if it's a real hair or it's she's got a different hair and they put extensions. I don't know what's going on there, but it looks bad to me.
Yeah.
I should have brought this up earlier as well, but I think Sylvie, it looked like she was on a bad acid trip whenever everything was going down.
Oh yeah.
Like I could definitely see her thinking that, especially the time period she's in and the spaghettification of everything. It's like, oh fuck. And then the spinning of that record, I was like, man, somebody tripping balls right now would watch this. Like
Oh man, that'd be fun. Real quick, back to the bar. I wrote my note there was Tom Hiddleston's such a good actor. Like with his I don't want to be alone scene. Like I don't know. I just thought
Yeah.
his acting was quite good there.
Yeah, I agree. But I will say, like, thanks, Richard, because now I see it every freaking time of the hair flip. Like,
I was gonna get to that. Well, I saw it a while back, and I've been meaning to mention it, and it just reminded me. So I sent y'all a text message talking about that, showing that Loki does this hair flip thing, especially in the series.
yeah,
Last season, someone did like a super cut of all of them. I forget how many is in the entire season, but I did a hair flip count. Within the first 10 minutes, we get 7. I may be off by maybe 1 or 2, but like total, we got 10 for this episode. But I was like, yeah, you could play like a drinking game, like with all the hair flips.
You'd be out before the show even ends.
We need to do this live for the finale. You know how great this podcast would be? I mean, I definitely would have to like call into work the next day. There's no like, no way.
yeah, definitely. Because that's yeah. Especially within 7 shots within the 10 minutes. Yeah, no, not happening.
Yeah, we'd be on our ass.
Yeah.
I'm already sitting down anyways.
You'd be on the floor then.
I'd be asleep. Those are all my notes.
No, okay.
So, Richard, please take center stage.
I talked about the biggest thing because I was bursting at the seams for that. But I giggled when Loki meets Obi in this episode for the first time, and they're talking, and he's like, well, I don't know how to even build it or whatever. And then he pulls out the handbook. Because I just giggled because all I could picture was Michael. My note was, LOL, the TVA handbook strikes again. It truly has been in every episode.
Every episode. It's been a key point in every single fucking episode.
I'm very curious to know if in the next one will it be. That'd be really funny if it was for every single episode this season.
Like throws the book out into the loom or something.
Yes. Yes. That needs to be what fixes the loom.
No.
Or be able to hit the button with it or something. Like it'd be like you have to have the book to hit the button.
Oh my God. I could see them doing something like that.
Or like one of the branches comes like shoots at him, but like the book saves it.
Oh
like,
God, that trope. Instead of it being a bullet, it's chronal energy or whatever it was, time radiation. Near the end of the episode, Loki says, it's not about where, when, or why. It's about who. I really was about to be like, Doctor Who? Like, are we just... to me, I just felt like this was such a Doctor Who like, people have been wanting, not like a ton of people, but some people have been wanting Tom Hiddleston to be a regeneration of the Doctor at some point.
Ooh, that'd be good.
I want to be James Bond, personally.
That'd be good too.
But anyway, this feels like this episode was written like, all right, you want him as Doctor Who? Here's your Doctor Who episode. Especially like when he's talking to Obi about his Mobius about coming to the TVA, and then like Mobius is like, well, I can't leave my sons, and then he shows him like, we're literally like a few minutes back in the past. He's like, you can show up any moment in time, so it'll be like you're never gone. I'm like, the Doctor says that to the companions to like tempt them to come onto the TARDIS so much. I was just like, this is a Doctor Who episode. I don't know if y'all caught this. I don't know if it's a thing. Maybe it's just someone being like, ha ha ha, like wink. But Mobius felt like he was like a reference to like Odin. He has 2 sons. One of them is very mischievous. The other one is good or whatever. When he tries to get the other one in line, he says basically about like, I'll give you a puppy. And he's like, well, I want a snake, which could be a reference to Fenrir, which is the wolf, and Jormungandr, which is the giant snake, which also is a reference to an Ouroboros. I don't know. Maybe I'm digging deep there, but I was just like, that seems very, I don't know, referencing that. But yeah, anyway.
I don't know that I would ever see Odin cleaning up his front yard like that.
I'm not saying he is Odin, but he's like an allegory for Odin or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, like, even whenever they were all gathered in OB's whatever office, whatever you want to call it, lab.
Yeah.
He was still trying to do his like jet ski pitch and everything.
Yeah.
Mobius was.
He was a salesman to like the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, he maybe not like Mobius either.
Made you not like Mobius?
Yeah, the whole salesman stuff. I was just like, I'm tired of it.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
Go away. I want my old Mobius back.
Yeah.
I like when Loki time slips to that. Instead of doing the hair flip, he's doing the wacky inflatable arm flailing to
yes.
Yeah, I thought that was quite funny. And that's pretty much it. I just had written down like all of their like variant names, what year and where they're from. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I got some theories of possibly where we're going, but yeah.
Let's go. Let's hear them.
Okay. Well, obviously, I mentioned the god of stories. I think I kind of mentioned it already. I think Loki is going to be not only the creator of the TVA now, but the head of the TVA.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't know if y'all like let the video play, but it always plays like clips from previous episodes that are
Mhm.
like important to whatever they're talking about. They showed He Who Remains from season 1 about how like everything you've done, everything that you've, whatever I led you here, I paved the road. And I'm kind of wondering like He Who Remains knew that Loki was like head of the TVA or created the TVA at some point and he took it away from him, or I don't know, to be honest with you, but he talks about it like when he's about to get murdered. He's like, you could kill me or y'all could take over the TVA and, prune or do whatever you want to with it. So anyway, I'm pretty sure that's where we're going with this.
I kind of wondered something along the same lines, not to the extent like you were talking about, where again it's a circle of him taking it from Loki, but somehow he knew or whatever that a Loki had to be at the helm, but he didn't know necessarily which one, and that's why he had Sylvie and Loki both coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, because I guess the possibilities or the likelihood of you getting a bad Loki out of the bunch was too great. Does that even make sense?
Sure.
Because of how like how much they emphasized that Loki was always the bad guy in season 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I do think it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy by like trying to prune all the like Loki stuff. It then creates this, like, in other words, it created Sylvie, who eventually leads to He Who Remains' death. But I don't know. It's one of those that I'll have to think about it for years and years, and maybe one day I'll figure it out. But yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying. Anyway, the other thing I kind of wondered, but they were already like doing a rewatch today. They're already in the branched timeline, but I thought Loki going like time slipping to those different moments is what causes the branch, which then makes it to where they get plucked out of there to be part of the TVA. I thought that was the case, but that wasn't when rewatching it. But yeah, that's all I got.
cool.
So my wife had one. She was asking me, she's like, "So does this have any kind of effect on the MCU stuff?" And I was like, "No,
Yeah, I mean,
not really."
not that we've seen, but I got a feeling. I don't know, like the time loom exploding kind of made me wonder: is that because it's very reminiscent of when Secret Wars happens, like that issue. I forget what it is. It's like Avengers. I don't know. Anyway, there's a moment where the two Earths collide, and then there's this blinding flash of white light. And it's very reminiscent of how the loom explodes, or the loom exploding is very reminiscent of that. And I was kind of wondering, because of how the TVA's time doesn't work, because, like Brad left and then it had been years, like his hair's all long and all this stuff. So maybe that's the start of Secret Wars or something that we saw. I don't know. Like I said, I've got theories on theories on theories, but until we
Yeah.
see more, I do hope this does influence the MCU somehow, because otherwise, what's the point of the show?
Yeah.
Right.
Other than it's just like Tom Hiddleston gets to act more.
Well, and it's also so it's already been established that like being in the wrong universe is what helps cause incursions. Like your time being somewhere you're not,
Mm,
that's not where you are, like influences incursions to happen. And so now we've just saw Loki go to
multiple
branches.
Yeah.
Which could be multiple universes, or they're all the same Earth, just different time periods.
Yeah.
So could him dispersing himself amongst the branches, could that be enough to cause incursions?
I'm going to say no, because I think we're also learning, like what is it? OB says something about his time slipping. He's like, you're like a Tim pad, but better.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming like using Tim pads and stuff doesn't cause incursions. for reasons. I can't tell you why, but just reasons. Because comics, like, so I'm gonna assume him doing the time slipping, no. But if it was like, I don't know, if he was there longer than what he normally was, maybe.
Well, I would say that because the agents that they have are people that are pruned from timelines, then those people aren't part of a timeline.
Right.
Or they're taken, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that timeline was pruned. So if that timeline was pruned, then that means there's not another universe to collide with because they were keeping the sacred timeline.
You're saying that like someone from, we'll just use like some letters, someone from branch timeline A goes to branch timeline B, so then A and B will be an incursion that collide into each other, right? Is that what you're saying? Then if A doesn't exist, then B can't collide with A.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, because they pruned that branch.
Okay. Yeah,
the
I mean
TVA did, but they kept that person.
That's a viable theory. And so, like, again, it's all up in the air, but yeah, sure, that works.
I mean, that to me, that's the only thing that would make sense and keep it from just being like, fuck it, comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know. I really think I think we're gonna learn that like the multiverse is supposed to exist, and this loom thing is like not supposed to be there, and that like
an evil conquering device.
Yeah,
from Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah, exactly. And that like incursions just happen naturally to prune themselves back. But I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's the only thing that makes sense to me right now.
Well, and two, it would also set up Kang to look like more of a good guy, and they always want to do that where it's like, especially like how they did with Thanos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it was like, well, fuck, he's got a point. Like, and so this would be the same kind of trope thing where it's like, look, I can either let nature take its course and it prune whoever it wants to prune, and it decimate thousands of millions of people in all these other universes, or I can control it.
Yeah.
And these people never even knew that they exist. There's never even anything that happened beforehand. It's like, well, fuck, he's got a point. Like,
yeah, he's also just using it for selfish reasons. He's not.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's using it. But yes, no, they could do that. I think people would critique them a little bit because, again, it's a little samey to Thanos. But
exactly.
I'm personally fine with that.
No, yeah, and that's why I'm saying like them doing something like that would be par because again we've gone from dusting to spaghettification, mind control time after time, and then it would just be this villain wants to save everybody but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Any other theories?
No, I kind of blew my load last episode with all the theories. I was really hoping Obi would be someone like important, like. I really thought like I did I don't know, by like episode 3 or something, I'm like, oh, what if he's the Beyonder? But I don't think that's happening now. I think he's just a guy. And then I don't know. I'm very excited to see because they released the final like trailer for these last 2 episodes. I'm very excited to see because we're gonna get to see Victor Timely get spaghettified again.
Yes.
From like a different angle this time.
Yes.
So I'm very curious to see like what happens with him. Like is he literally nothing? Like he's just he's a Ralph Boner again. Like he's just nothing.
You know what? Like I had an Avengers Annual 21, which is the first Victor Timely.
Yeah.
And I had it up for sale, and somebody offered me, an amount that was less than what I had it up for sale. And I was like, well, I'll watch the episode real quick. I saw him get spaghettified, and I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and let's do this deal. That would be great. So I'm hoping the guy, I always send a note with my stuff that says, hey, if you like this book, you may like me on, Comically Comics podcast, and tell them to go look there and tell them to go look at YouTube. So, sir, I hope you're enjoying your book still. Very much so. But yeah, I was very glad to get that out of my collection.
That's funny.
You spaghettified that one.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, yes, except I'm accepting that offer. Which the episode had like been out, so more than likely the guy knew and he just really wanted that character and for a good deal. So win-win on both parts, I say.
Yeah.
All right, Jeremy. Until then, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO. That's Night with a K, and you can find me here.
Awesome. Richard, how about you, sir?
You playing that Spider-Man Miles Morales?
I am playing the Miles Morales. Yes, I have been playing that. So.
Cool.
Not the second one.
No, I know. You told me you weren't going to do that. You were going to do that, but I'm keeping you because I just beat the second one.
Already?
Oh yeah. It's not very long to me. I burned through like all the side missions and then I just started doing the storyline before I knew it. I was done last night, like kind of late, but it's pretty good. Interesting setup and stinger and stuff like that. I don't know if we're going to get like another like mid game, you know what I mean? Like, you know how they did Spider-Man and then Miles Morales and then Spider-Man 2. I feel like we're going to get another mid game and then Spider-Man 3, but I don't know for sure.
The one thing that I'm disappointed in with this one, the second one that just came out, is that you can't do co-op missions. Like you have two Spider-Man characters in there.
Yeah.
What would be so hard to do co-op missions? I don't get it.
Yeah, I get that. But they make it to where you can like instantly swap. But anyway, we'll do a review on this game.
Yeah.
Like, cuz the I think it was like IGN said it's like a technical marvel, and it is. Like the fast travel in this game and the basically way to instantly swap between Miles and Pete, like I forget, it's like 3 seconds or I forget, it's something super quick. It is insane how quick fast travel is in this game, and I love it. Anyway.
Oh, nice.
If you want to contact me directly, I have a X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, an Instagram, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and Curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X.
Oh shit, I thought you were going to keep going. You can find me on Instagram and eBay at 22_comics. You can also find me on YouTube at 22 comics. Thank you all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed as much as we did making it. With all that being said, think about it, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy. Bye.
Sure. Excellent. Yeah, makes total sense.